in stunts? Is that your first introduction to the entertainment?
Yeah, because I started out first. I acted in a couple of forgettable movies. I was a lead in a couple movies in the '90s, and then things were dry. And then this is where again fate intervenes. Is then I went through a period of time where a couple of years I didn't see Eric Lee. I mean, he was traveling, I'm traveling, we're doing different things, and I got a job as an extra on a film called Steel Justice with Martin Cove, and because at that time my career was going nowhere, and so I was doing some extra work. And lo and behold, who's there? Eric Lee. He's doing stunts. Him and the stunt team were doing stunts. And he sees me, Art, what are you doing there? I say, oh, Sifu, I'm just doing some extra work. No, get over here. He pulls me over. No, get over here with the stunt guys. Hang out with us. And so he took me under his wing. And then shortly after that, he called me up because he was choreographing for Don Wilson, Don the Dragon Wilson, on a film called Ring of Fire. He says, hey, Art, they need, I'm paraphrasing. They need a Mexican who can work cheap and doesn't complain. That's me. So I go there, and Malia, this is again, fate intervenes. Is that I go there, and it was fun. We were just fighting, doing fight scenes. I'm getting my butt kicked, and this one guy, kickboxer, he's in the scene with me, and he's supposed to throw, side kick. Really, and again, he wasn't pulling it, so he was hitting pretty hard. But take one, he hits me right here, so I go flying. I mean, this guy full on side kick because I'm standing there. Just take two. Now it's a little higher, right? So take one here, take two here. So I'm thinking, but at this point, I knew I was going to go flying back, so I was very loose. That way I wouldn't tense up and hurt myself. By take three, he got me right here.
Oh, no.
So what happened is that he kicked me, but I was so limber, so loose at that time. By the third take, my feet literally went almost over my head. My body just went flying back on cement. So I basically fell down, right? Fell back. In my head, it was my first real gig. I thought I had screwed up. I really did. I said, oh my God, I screwed up because the guy, maybe I wasn't in the right place, and I might have hurt him with his foot on my throat. I'm thinking, oh, and Malia, I'm lying there, and eyes closed because he's supposed to be knocked out, and I don't hear cut. I'm thinking, oh, now for sure, I screwed up. This is it, my first and last stunt job. I kid you not. Finally, I had the guts to open my eyes. And people are standing over me looking down. They kicked in the throat. They thought I was dead or something, I thought I was fired. They thought I was dead. It was crazy. So then they get up, they go, are you okay? I go, yeah. I was apologizing to the guy. Sorry, guys, I must have screwed up because, I know you got your perfect kick, but I apologize. It's my first job. And they're like, no, what the hell? You got kicked in the throat. What are you apologizing for? Next thing you know, and I heard the director tell Eric Lee, hey, you know what? Let's bring that Camacho guy back, man, because he works cheap and he takes the hits. He doesn't complain.
Wow. It was cool the way your body responded from martial arts, from the kick.
Yeah.
You just
yes, exactly.
You responded. You did what was natural.
Exactly.
Yeah. Perhaps if you didn't respond and flow with it, you could have been hurt.
I could have been hurt seriously because the guy was on sidekick to the throat.
But you went with it. Therefore, you saved your butt. And you got more work.
That's what started everything. I tell you, from then on, it was here. Then I got my SAG card. Then, and here's the thing. I always give 300%. Everything I do, I don't give 100%. I give 300%. And this company, they ended up giving me my SAG card, Taft-Hartley me. So they said, hey, Art, here's your union card. And at the time, I didn't have the $900 to pay the dues. So and they wanted to hire me on the next film, but they said, you have to be in the union or else we can't hire you to choreograph our movies. I said, well, okay, I'll have to pass them the job and money. Then they go, come to the office. So basically, here's what they did, Maria. They liked me so much that they gave me busy work to do for a week, paid me the $900 so I could pay my dues. Then they hired me.
Oh, but nice people. You see what a great martial artist and an actor. You could flub your way through it. You knew what to do. Whether you knew or not, you did it. I think that's part of all of our life, as martial artists. I've said I could do a million things when in fact I couldn't. I just figured, well, I'm not going to say no. I'll figure out how to do that.
I'll figure out how to do it.
And do it. I don't say no. But okay, so you were in stunts, but then how in God's name, with no talent, no formal education, no school, did you get into directing and making commercials? You need to know something.
You know what I did? Even prior to this, the commercial end, I ended up doing for a small agency in between different gigs here and there, because I had the same approach. I wanted to learn how to do films. I don't know how to get into films. I had a friend of mine who had a studio in Hollywood. Same thing with the museum, with the Bruce Lee Museum. I went to him. I said, "Hey, do you got any jobs?" They go, "No, we got no paying jobs." I said, "Do you mind if I come and clean up for you guys on weekends and during the week? I'll mop, sweep them off. I just want to see what you guys are doing." Shoot, you want to work for free? Great. Long story short, 6 months later, I was producing commercials because I learned, and they needed somebody at the time. They said, "AR, we need help here." So they started hiring me on shoots. Fast forward to movies, I started doing all these stunts, and then I was helping Sifu Eric Lee doing choreography. And there was one film where he was already hired for another film. And then they said, "Hey, Art, you know what? Eric Lee can't do this one because he's busy on another shoot. Would you like to be a choreographer?" I was like, I'm not a choreographer. I don't know how to choreograph. But okay. So then I fell into it, very natural. And the producer, he's one of those guys that has just goes from his gut. One night we shot this film in Vegas on top of the Sands Hotel in Vegas. And I had choreographed everything, but I was not thinking camera. I wasn't thinking directing. I was thinking nothing. I said, okay, I put moves together. Then I usually sit back and watch and make sure the moves are good. And he comes up to me. He goes, "Art, you're going to direct this." I go, "What?" He says, "You direct this now." I was like, I swear to God, I must have turned white.
A white Mexican.
Yeah, white Mexican. I wanted to jump out the building. I didn't know what the hell to do. No. And then the assistant who was there, he's a director. So he turns to the assistant. He says, "Jerry, you don't help Art. He does it on his own." And he walks away. And I was like, holy crap, holy my God, what am I going to do?
Oh, I love it. You sound like me.
Yes, I was exactly. And Malia, I did not know what to do, but the camera guy, the DP, he was a really nice guy. He says, "Art, what if you put the camera here?" I didn't even know what he said. I said, yeah, that's a good idea. Love it. And so then, once I started looking through the lens, Malia, then I started learning. Okay, then I got, okay, well, let's put another camera here. Now let's get this. Then that night changed my whole life. I started
Yeah,
directing the fight action.
natural ability.
Yeah.
I recently met up with a friend, and we were talking about my road to the show, the top, and all of this. And who am I interviewing? And I was all excited because I'm going to interview Art Camacho, and I'm nervous and this and that. And I said, I'm Saturday. I'm interviewing, Art Camacho. Do you know him? Blah blah blah. And he just laughed and he said, "You know this person?" He said, "Do I know Art Camacho?" I said, "I don't know. Do you know Art Camacho? Do you remember a man by the name of Sam Oldham?"
Yeah.
Sam said, "Please tell Art Camacho hello for me." He said, "I have such great respect for watching him climb up the ladder, teaching himself, learning, never saying no." He said he's a really natural in the industry. So I'm relaying a hello to you from Sam,
I love
because
Sam.
he was all excited. He said, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen him for so long." But before I forget, I have to say Sam
I
said
love Sam. I mean, I
that,
love it.
Sam is an amazing man. I love him too. He's a great person. Okay, so now, um, to direct, people gave you the chance. You're doing films. You're doing this. You're this.
But here's
Okay,
what I want to add. Let me add this. So throughout that movie, I started really honing my skills, learning camera, learning how to shoot fight action. Fast forward a few days later, and here's where the directing comes in, because Malia, I never even thought I would ever direct a film. That wasn't even in my trajectory, not in my dreams, nothing. What happened is that they were going to do a karate sequence in a tournament sequence, basically, in this movie, but they didn't have a big budget. So the producer said, "Hey, Art, can you get some of your friends to come down to play audience members and some to compete and stuff like that?" I said, "Yeah." So at first he was asking for 30, 40 people. I said, I could make a couple of calls to schools. by the end of one day, he said that 30 went up to 500 people he wanted for this karate scene. And I'm thinking, well, shit, I mean, that'll be pushing it, but I can get some people for very cheap. And he goes, no, we'll pay them. I said, look, I'll tell you what, let's do this. So in my mind, I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? So we got the people. I said, okay, I went to schools and I said, okay, I'll donate $5 for every kid that comes down to the school, and $50 for every instructor. And then we're going to raffle off atomics, clothes, dollars, you name it. So I made it a big party atmosphere. And so I got from 30 to 500. And so then the assistant, who's a friend of mine, he says, Art, you better have a plan, because this director doesn't know what to do.
Ooh.
You guys are you're going to have 600 of your friends there for $5 a day that, they're going to be leaving. So I'm thinking, what do you mean? So I have to design in my mind. I said, maybe I'll design the whole idea of the tournament to where we're going to have cameras, we're going to have people. So I came up, and I still have it to this day. This was in '94, a schematic. I stupid me, I had X's and O's and little lines, and little kid here, little kid here. I kind of storyboarded out. I showed it to the producer. He looked at it. He's looking at the 4 pages, and he just started laughing. Being the Mexican in me, hot-blooded, anything, I walked out. I was pissed. Malia, I was so pissed off. I said, you know what, I do all this work for him. He's making fun of me in front of his crew. I don't play that. He walks out afterwards, because we were shooting a scene, another action scene. And he looked at me and he says, Art, do you want to direct films? And then I thought, now he's adding insult to injury. Now he's adding salt on an open wound. He made fun of me in there. Now he's really teasing me now. I swear to God. I said, yeah, of course. Yeah, just like that. I said, yeah, of course. Yeah. And then I walked away. A week goes by. I get a call from his secretary, Mr. Camacho. Your appointment is set for, I think it was like, I forgot what day it was, for to meet with Mr. Murphy. And I said, what do you mean, appointment for what? The film you're going to direct for us. Holy moly.
Oh my gosh.
That's how it happened.
That's how that happened?
Yes. And then I got my first film. The film made a lot of money, and the rest is history.
What was that film?
It was called The Power Within. It was a kid's film. Again, this was a low budget film, but they put it this way, they made it. I saved them, number one, $50,000 on their budget on production. And then on top of it, I think they grossed over, let's say it was a $650 cost them, and they grossed over $2 million on the film.
Wow.
So they made a lot of money off me, and then they hired me for another one. Then other companies started hiring me, but that's how it happened, Malia. I didn't,
but you were good. It wouldn't have happened if you didn't have something. No one would have paid attention to you.
Yeah.
You had a gift. You knew what you were doing. You weren't bullshitting, excuse my French. You said you knew what you were talking about. Yeah. More so than people they may have gone out and hired that maybe had no knowledge in martial arts or in giving directions. I assume now that you're a man that likes to give directions. You don't want to take directions unless it's going to make you mad. You'll take the direction.
That's true.
But I don't understand. It said 50 action films. It's really hard for me to understand. Okay, what point in your life did you feel you were a success and that you could sit back and go, I think I might have something here. I think I might be a little bit successful?
Never.
Never.
I'm a failure right now.
We all are failures. Yes, I like that answer.
But honest truth. That's why this isn't fake humility. I'm being very honest with you when I say I'm very humbled, and I was nervous to do your show because I'm still that fat kid watching his first.
No, well, you will always be, but you're not when you look in the mirror. You're not that fat kid, but I'm glad that image is still in your head because you'll never go back there.
Yeah. Exactly.
You will never go back to being that fat kid or that 15-year-old who got the crap beat out of them or anybody laughing at you. That's not what you're made up of. You're a solid man that's going to only move forward. And that's very obvious when, I look at your book here. Okay, this book. All right, filmmaker's journey. And it talks in here, you talk about, Malia. Oh, I'm reading what you wrote. Oh, thank you. I won't tell anybody. It's our secret.
That's it.
Okay. But anyhow, I look at you in this book and all the amazing, I mean, amazing things you've done. What I want to know is, is martial art world. When I used to go into tournaments, even though I was so well prepared, the minute I was to get up, they called my name. I'd become so insecure and think, what am I doing here? I can't do it. I'm not gonna. I can't possibly beat these people or win. Look at all of them. But yet I'd come out on top. Did you ever have that feeling as a director?
Every film, Aaliyah, every to this day, every project I do, whether I'm even still, I do stunts still every day.
You
I'm like,
get butterflies in your tummy?
oh my God. I tell you, one day I remember specifically, there's one film we were shooting at the Universal's lot. And when you direct over there, you get through, you actually drive through the lot. You know how the Universal's tour, the
Yes.
European town, all that stuff. So I'm driving at 7 in the morning, it's all empty. And here I'm looking at Universal Studios. I mean, this is huge to me. And when I get to the street where we're going to shoot my scene, for as far as the eye can see, all I see is trailers and people. And I swear to God, I wanted to turn the car around and go home. I was
Oh, I
so
can
nervous.
imagine.
I was
I
so nervous. People are coming up to you. Okay, we're getting this and we're getting that. We're getting this camera, this actor's here. And my heart is just every time, Malia, I swear to you, with every film, whether it's meetings, this Zoom thing, I had to prepare myself mentally because it is challenging. It is challenging.
Well, challenging for me to do this also because I don't know how to do a show. I don't know anything about lights and all I knew is I wanted to have, I changed my little sets here and there uh, and I wanted to look the best I could look and you know, I figured, well, try, you can only fail, but I will not let myself fail. So I'm doing it. But so I'm glad to hear that you still have those feelings of incompetency, that you're not good enough. What am I doing? I can't do it. And that you resort back to the little fat kid, because I resort back to that white belt that knew nothing what am I think, who do I think I am that I can get out here and chit chat like this? But is there any point in your life that you feel all your success, even though you don't think you have success, you do have success in the eyes of people who admire you? That is success. Have you ever felt that your success interfered with the happiness of a private life?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because to me, once I made the unconscious or conscious commitment to do what I'm doing, it really messes with you because
Yeah.
you're single focused, and that's why I told you, that's why I like TV, movies. That's the only escape. The only time that the clock, because it's almost like there's a clock ticking. There's a time limit. So it's really weird. And yes. Um, but here's the thing. Here's the bad side of that too, is that you know the bad side is there, not really bad, but it is bad in the sense that you get used to a certain kind of lifestyle. And like when I go to events, stuff like that, people, I get, when I'm going, out of state, I get paid, I get taken care of. And sometimes when you don't have that, you're like, damn it, where's my driver?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mark has made that comment a few times. You leave the country, you go to make a movie, and you're catered to like you're a king.
Yes.
And then everything is, I mean, I'm almost like kiss your feet, but then all of a sudden the project is finished and you come home and you're no longer the king. And Mark has said, oh my God, it's such a different life when you're out working. And of course I laugh, working? Do you call that working? But yeah, Mark a few times has made that comment. But I have two sons, and
Yes.
both sons are workaholics. And Mark, of course, got married and has three children. Craig, he's climbing his road to the top, man. He's getting close. He said, Mom, I have no time for marriage or kids. He said, I would be a rotten husband and I would be a terrible father because I would not be around. My goal is to achieve my dream. So
Nice.
he's living his dream. And when he feels like he wants children, he goes to Mark's house. And
There you go.
he's got 3 children there and 2 dogs. And then when he's had enough of the children, he goes home and he's very happy that way.
Good
But
for him.
as Craig said, it's really hard to watch Mark, you know, when you're married, you have children, you have a wife, and yet your work takes you away. It's really hard on the man who is the family man. He said, that's why I choose the single life, Mom, because I would have been divorced and I wouldn't have been there for children. He says, it's not for me. And I appreciate that both boys know what was good for them and what's not good for them.
And they're
So
good.
that's,
You know, it's a tribute to you, and now they're grounded human beings. You know, your sons, Mark and Craig, are really good people.
well, I've always been a pretty grounded woman, you know, and growing and making the children, raising the children, you know, I had beliefs. I was kind of strict, but
Yeah.
not strict. I don't know. I have, you know, I believe in God. I believe in foundations. I believe in a clean, healthy life. I believe in fitness. I believe in happiness. I believe in loving and caring for people. And that's how I raised my children up. So if you look at Mark and Craig today, that's kind of how they are, because that's what they saw from their mother. So yeah, but I'm glad that you knew, you recognized yourself for what you are, and you're still climbing your road to the top. And um, I admire that. But you know, I look at all these movies that you've made. You know, I mean, to me, Recoil, 13 Dead Man, Confessions of a Pit Fighter, Half Past Dead, Assassin X, Wild League. Well, all of them fascinate me, all of them, all of them. I wished I could say that I have seen them, but I'm going to see them now. I'm getting out the ho-hos, the
There you
Pepsi,
go. We
the
got it by.
Twinkies. I'm going to watch Art's movies.
There
But
you go.
yeah, but of all your movies, I mean, you've received 7 awards for walking, what is that? Assassin X walked
Yeah.
away with 7 awards. Is that right? And then you received, I mean, what an honor, Director of the Year at the film festival. I mean, Art, that's like better than grand champion at the tournament. I mean, look at that, Art. You have to be, you have to look at yourself in the mirror sometime and say, not bad, Art, look how far you've climbed up the ladder. If you're truthful with yourself, you have to say that to
You know,
yourself.
you do, and it lasts 30 seconds, and then you move on. Because
Yes.
then it's like, this is so cool, so bitchin'. Okay. Now
No,
what
but it's encouragement for you that people recognize your ability and that you're awarded.
well, thank you.
That gives you motivation to try another, try something else. I'll try this. Of all the movies that you've directed or been in, what is your favorite?
Right now, I think, to be honest with you, I think my first one that I directed called The Power Within.
That's
And
your favorite.
part of it is because, I mean, it still holds up. It's a family film, but the uh, the script, again, I didn't write the script, but I made a lot of changes because of my martial arts. For instance, the biggest change I made in that movie was at the end. This kid's a loser. He gets power, and he ends up fighting the bad guy. But when he overpowers the bad guy, the way the script had it written is that he beats him to death, he beats the crap out of him, throws him here, throws him there, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, no, no. That's not the message. The message is once you have the power within, you don't have to use it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. I mean, so once he overpowered the bad guy, I created a very dramatic scene where instead of him, he's ready to pounce on the guy. After the guy pounced on him, he
Right.
just let him go. And because
Yes.
he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to be.
Yes.
School, that's right. That's right, we go to school together.
You know, and then I dedicated that film to God, because God put me in this world, in this seat, to give that message.
That's so, I'm glad that you realize that and that you give recognition to the one who deserves the recognition. And that would be God. Yes, that's amazing, Art. But you know, Art, so many of your movies, are they all made in our country, or do you go to other countries?
Probably about half a dozen of them in other countries. Like Half Past Dead, I did in Germany, Russia, of course, I was there, and the Wild League. it was a kind of thing. Again, you talk about fate. Real quick story about that one is that the producer Alexander Nevsky, good friend of mine, great human being, he had talked to me about doing a film in the Philippines, good action film. That film didn't go through. 2 months later, he calls me up. He says, "I got another film. This one might go. It's not an action film. It's a period piece. It's a love story." He said, "Interesting." It intrigued me a lot. So he showed me the script, and that's what became Wild League. So I went to Russia to do Wild League, which was an amazing movie, amazing story about how
It's a
soccer.
period piece. That's what's even more amazing.
1910. I mean, I had horses, carriages, and we shot at the two biggest studios in Russia. To me, it was like, wow. I was shocked how beautiful.
Oh, I mean, that's a huge feather in your hat to do
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah,
That is so out of your league.
yeah, yes, so true.
Yeah,
And it just it's a beautiful. It still hasn't been brought here because it's still in Russia, but it's a beautiful film. It's a beautiful story.
oh, I so look forward to seeing that. You know, I know Mark loves Russia. I
Yeah,
don't know what you felt about Russia, but Mark
I didn't want to come back.
absolutely loves the people. He loves working there. He loves anytime he thought he was going to go work in Russia, he would be very happy. It
Really,
didn't matter how cold it was. He just loved going to Russia. But
I love the
yeah,
people, and I love the story. Again, I'm a storyteller at heart. I don't. I'm not a fighter. I'm not all this stuff, action guy. Even though that's what pays my bills, but I'm a storyteller at heart, and that's what I liked about Wild League and some of these other projects that I get to tell stories. You know.
yeah, it's cool because that's kind of we're alike in that way because I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
I love to tell stories. I can take the most boring topic and turn it to the most interesting story. And so, yeah, it's fun to tell stories. I like that. Now, what is Confessions of a Pit Fighter about?
Believe it or not, the story behind that one is more interesting than the movie's pretty good. The movie's pretty good. But the story behind that one, I was going through a very dark period in my life, couldn't get myself work, couldn't get arrested. And so I decided I wrote a film for me that I was going to star in it, I was going to direct it, I was going to produce it, I was going to do it cheap. But I said the only way I'm going to make it happen is if I create this myth around this pit fighter. So I had talked to a friend of mine, big wrestler guy, big strong guy. I talked to some friends in Tijuana, and Malia, what I was going to do, I was going to set up probably about, I think, either 10 or 12 fights, real street fights. But I said,
Ah,
here's the rule. I was going to take the big guy with me because I said, look, I only need, because I was going to videotape them and put them on YouTube. Then I was going to promote that, like this is a real pit fighter from Mexico. Then I was going to make the movie based on
mhm.
this guy, and they were going to be real fights. So I told the big guy, I said, the only rule is 20 seconds is all I need because I want somebody to videotape each fight. I don't need a full-on fight. I'm gonna have a bunch of them over a few days. And so true story is that he said, what if they're beating the shit out of you? I said, great, even better. Stop it at 20 seconds. So I was setting up fights, physical fights to go do to,
Oh,
for me to go fight people in Tijuana. Just in a street fight. Just get a
oh
guy.
my gosh.
Crazy. I think about it. Thank God our producer loved the script and came in with the money to do it. So I didn't have to go get. I mean, that's how crazy I am. I'm not this badass. I do okay, but I was literally going to set up fights with no holds barred. It's just the guys punch me, whatever, hit me, kick me, whatever. Just 20 seconds. 20 seconds. If I'm beating the shit out of him, pull me back. If he's beating the shit out of me, pull him back.
Oh my gosh. You're a crazy man.
It's kind of biographical of growing up in the streets and the stuff you run into, the choices you make in life.
Boy, that's real. You can't get much more real than that. I love it. That's
To
a
this
great
day, I
story.
thank God I didn't do it.
Who names all these movies? Who comes up with 13 Dead Man, Recoil? Who names the movies?
The distributors, they got all these hooks. They got all these hooks.
I mean, even though you may think that's a terrible name for this movie, you have no say in it. The distributor
I
names it.
could if I wanted to. Confessions of a Pit Fighter I came up with because it was kind of a biographical, but the other ones, because as long as it's going to sell. To me, if it sells, if it's your market, that's why the good and bad of it when you do a lot of these independents is that they give you the stars to work with. They say, okay,
Um,
you guys got to sell this territory, so you got to put him in there, and and it's kind of a chess thing. They kind of put all these pieces together, and then they say, okay, go make the movie.
I
Because they
see.
know what's going to sell, and so you.
Have you ever in the middle of a movie and you change the whole thing because you think it's not going where you want it to go?
Oh, a lot of times, yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of times you're not working with the best scripts. One film in particular, I did a talk about it the other day. To me, it's a terrible movie. It's called Gangland. Terrible movie. I mean, I directed and I produced it, or co-produced it. But that film, it was a great concept, a great story, Malia, but the script was horrible. And the producer was just determined to shoot because he wrote it, so his ego was attached to it. But every day we were getting up. Every morning, I'd sit around the set with my actors. We were making up the scenes as we were going.
Oh, my word.
So we'd write the scenes as we were going, you know.
Oh,
But
that's hard.
the film was so successful. How crazy is that? I mean, they made a lot of money. Go
I
figure.
love it. See,
Go
you're
figure.
you're good for people. You make money for
That's
them. You know what? I've heard this said so many times that you can have a perfectly good, whether it's a commercial, movie, whatever, and the minute it gets into the editing room, sometimes it comes out, you don't even recognize that it was your movie. Do you find that to be so?
in the beginning, yes, and that's well. See, that's what got me again. Going back to when I was asked to direct, because at first when I used to choreograph the fights, I used to think they look really good choreographed, but then they didn't know how to shoot them. So then I learned how to shoot the fights, and then I said, okay, great, the fights choreographed good. I shot the good shots. Then they didn't know how to edit them. So then I got to a point where I said, I don't want extra money, but I want to be able to choreograph, shoot, and help edit the fights. So
Mhm.
then they started looking for the vision good as I wanted. And that's what I always, that's why I tell you, I always give 300%. You
Man,
hire me.
I would think you were in huge demand. People would have recognized you were like 3 in 1. You could do it all for the one price.
What price? Exactly. He wants it cheap and he doesn't complain.
Yeah. Art, in your film Assassin X, you walked away with 7 awards. What were the awards that were awarded to this movie?
I forget, but there were a lot of technical awards. We came close to winning the picture one, but the action, the directing, choreography. But to me, it was okay. My favorite thing about Assassin X is the scene. You know Martin Cove, right? Martin Cove,
Yes.
the guy with Martin. He did a scene in there. It was my favorite death scene of all time. The writer, I wrote the script, and I had another writer come and polish it. He wrote this scene when this guy's dying, and he's almost like talking to somebody, but he's not. It's all going through his head. And so the scene was kind of a weird scene. It was written. I was not even going to shoot it, Molly. I thought this is kind of weird, kind of stupid. But I said, you know what? I'm going to shoot it anyway. And it was a powerful scene because Martin he basically he has a choice to either take the poison that somebody had placed for him, or eventually somebody's going to gun him down. So he said the person that gave him the poison was very compassionate and loved him, and that's why I wanted him to go in his sleep versus having him to get gunned down in the street.
Mhm.
So he takes it, he looks at it, and he makes that conscious decision to take the venom. And as he's dying, he starts having a conversation with this one person, and we see it. I shot it in such a surrealistic way. So you literally, the chair here, and he's talking to them, going back to their good old days. And then right when he passes on, we just see him just close his eyes and he drops a cup. And then as the camera pulls back, you realize there's nobody else in the room. So it was all in his head that he was talking to his person. And it was such a powerful death scene. It was really, really, really good stuff.
Wow.
Very poignant.
Your voice shows how you felt about that. You believed in it. You feeling it at this moment, that scene.
It's like the way, to be honest with you, it's the way I would like to go. Just to go peacefully and come to terms with everything that I've done, good and bad.
Wow. That was a pleasant death.
It was a great day.
Oh, Arch, when you look at everything you've done, I mean, this book doesn't tell half of what you've done now that I'm talking to you.
Sure.
But when you look back at your life, is there anything you would have done differently?
I think so many, to be honest with you, so many things I would have done differently. I can't pinpoint one, but I think of all these choices that I made, and because the one thing that eludes me is, like I told you, and I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know what real happiness is. That's the thing. I really don't know. That's the only part of that dream, that part of the equation that I haven't mastered.
You don't know what happiness is?
No, I don't. I know what being content. I know what being
Oh, how sad.
but it's
I have found that in my life, happiness and contentment. And I discovered what I have happiness and contentment. You know why? Because I'm single.
there you go. You got it all.
No, that's not nice to say. But no, but I am happy and content. I really love my life. God has blessed me. I am so happy in my life.
You give that off and you feel that from you. That's the energy you feel.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm happy. I can.
you know what? But here's the thing. I'm not, when I say that, I don't mean, oh, I'm sad. No, I'm not sad. No, hell no. Something to be sad about. I'm content. I'm content with things that I've done, the things I'm doing. But I think the minute that all these things happen that led me to where I am right now, that kind of robbed me of that, because I don't know what it would take to make me happy, to be honest with you. I think, okay, maybe success, maybe films, maybe this, but it's not. Even internally, great, so many things, that's the only equal thing that I haven't really mastered. I don't, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Oh, I'm sad. Go
No.
try. Let me suggest something that when I have days where I get sad, and you know what cheers me up? A banana split. Now that may sound stupid, but I can be feeling, oh, not so good today. Something's not right. And I turn my car right into Baskin Robbins. One banana split, please. And I just stuff my face, chocolate and everything, and eat it. It's even on my clothes. And then it's in my tummy, and I feel good. I get up, I walk out, and life is good.
That's good.
Yes.
You know what? But seriously, it's not even that I'm sad. I'm not. It's more like I told you. There's content. There's satisfaction. There's so many positive things. Just that term, and it wasn't until recently that I was talking to somebody about happiness and about happy that it made me realize that hey, you're right. It is interesting. It's not a pity me. It's not a sad Art Camacho. Hell no. I tell you, I am so blessed, Amalia, so blessed from.
Oh, you are so blessed.
The
one thing also, I believe you're probably a loner even in your life today. I'm a loner. I rely on myself because in my past I've relied on so many people that failed me, and I realized the only person that, if I'm going to be mad at somebody, let it be myself.
Absolutely.
Nobody else. But
absolutely. I can't play the blame game. I get pissed off at people, but I don't like playing the blame game, because this is where
no, because every morning I wake up with me, every evening I close my eyes with me, and whatever I did in between, that was a good day. You did good, Malia. Or I might say, oh, you better do better tomorrow. And also I believe my contentment and happiness comes from the fact that I really am a child of God. I believe in faith. I believe in God hears my prayers. I believe when I ask him for direction, he does direct me. I believe that, there's nobody more important in my life to direct me than God. He's my director. And so I don't know. But Art, I don't know. To me, I look at you and I asked you this once before. I'm going to ask you again. Your trademark, glasses and leather jacket. How did that happen?
You know what it was, to be honest with you? It happened by accident. it happened by accident because number one, these are all prescription glasses, and at one point I had broken my clear ones, and I was teaching stunt fighting at a school out there in Hollywood, and I'm blind as a bat. And it was going to take them 2 weeks to make my clear glasses. So then I started wearing because I need to see. So I started wearing my sunglasses while I was teaching martial arts, and then it really started feeling better for me. I mean, I like that, and so that's how it happened. And then the jacket thing came that I really like the jackets. And at first I used to wear a lot of like regular shirts and stuff like that. And a funny story is this: you know how you go to these Hall of Fame events, right? Big Hall of Fame events. Um, I went to a couple, and I saw pictures of me with a suit, and I thought, God damn it! Excuse my language. I hate the way Art Camacho looks in that damn suit. He's like trying to fit in. I felt fake, like I was trying to fit in with everyone else.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Screw it. And I remember going to one event, and I said, you know what? I'm going to wear my black jeans, black boots, and a leather and just a t-shirt, my trench coat, my leather trench coat. And
Yes.
and so I'm walking up to the event, and then I see them dragging a guy out because he was everything, but he didn't wear a tie or something like that. And they're taking out, go get your tie or go get whatever. And I said, oh shit, they're dragging that guy for a tie. Could you imagine? I'm in jeans and boots. So I walked up there, and I'm expecting them to tell me, and I said, you know what, that's fine. I'll go back to my room, and no big deal. I get there. Oh, Mr. Camacho, you're sitting on the dais over here. Great jacket. Cool. That was it. And I've been.
But this is you. This
Yes.
is you. I cannot see you in a suit. I'm sure you a tuxedo. Maybe I can see you in a tuxedo. But well, it depends on the suit, maybe. But this is you. A leather
Yes.
jacket in the dark glasses. That's Art Camacho.
And
And I think no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, and I buy them. I mean, I bought some jackets in England. I bought some, around the world. I look for different ones. I don't just like to. And then I have them. Believe it or not, this is where the vanity comes in. I have them. A lot of them I have them tailored. So I
Yeah.
buy them, and from England, then I have them tapered, and.
Well, yeah, because that's your wardrobe. There's
Yeah.
so many designers out there design different styles of leather jackets, long trench coats. You have to have one of each.
That's why
And you obviously you should get someone to sponsor you with your dark glasses. You're their model.
right.
Perfect.
And,
But
and then the bonus of this is that another thing is that when you go to these events, you take pictures, and everybody. I used to try to tell people, tell me which camera to look at, and then people don't care. They just do it. They're excited. So then I thought, okay, you're always looking at the right camera because they never see your eyes. You're there. Doesn't matter. The camera could be over there. He's looking at me. Seriously.
I love it. Well, see, it serves its purpose. You're not stupid. You know how to cover your weaknesses. I love it. But Art, is there anything in closing you would like a message to people, young children, adults, something encouraging?
I think in general is that I think you have to, in my life, I've learned to live with my failures. I've learned to embrace my failures and overcome, overcome the bulliness. You're never going to completely. I'm never going to completely feel whole from that experience of being bullied and, like I told you, the fat kid. I'm never. That's never going to leave me. But having said that, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing because it drives me every day. It drives me every day. And
Yes.
every day of my life, I'm going to train. Every day of my life, I'm going to try to achieve success. Every day of my life, I'm going to try to live my life in a way that I honor my Lord. Because if I don't, I'm doing him a disservice, I'm doing me a disservice, I'm doing everybody a disservice. So at the end of the day, and that's why there was a play, I don't know if you ever saw it, it was a musical called Jesus Christ Superstar.
Mm-hmm.
In the 70s and the 80s, and then anyway, long story short is I ended up going to the Broadway shows and all that stuff with Ted Neely, who played Jesus. And so I met Ted Neely. I met him after one of the shows, and we started talking, and he asked me, this is very important because I asked him about the scene. There's a scene, if you know, in the Bible where Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane,
Mhm.
he's having his doubt. And I asked him, I said, you know what? I said, Ted, that scene is so powerful. What is the process? What you playing that scene? Because literally Ted just embodies Jesus. He plays the role of Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar. And he says, Art, you know, the thing is, when I am in the role, I am not a person talking to God.
Mhm.
I'm a son talking to my father. And I'm asking my father, if you love me, why are
Yes.
you doing this to me?
Yes.
And it blew me away, Malia. When he said that, it put my whole life in perspective.
Right.
You know?
You don't have to pray to communicate with God. You talk to him. He was a man who roamed the earth.
Yeah.
Talk to him. You don't
Yeah.
have to, oh, holy, I don't know how to pray. You know, I pray, but my way. But, oh, that's, yeah,
It's
I
so
like that.
powerful. And that's what he said.
That's good.
And that's
Yeah.
what Jesus was doing, just the father talking to his son. And then he autographed my my program, and that's where I stole it from. He says, Art, it's such an honor to meet you. So cool what you're doing in life. Keep living the dream. And
Yes.
boom, that was another epiphany. Then that's what it is. That's what I've been doing all these last 30 years, just living an amazing journey, amazing dream.
Okay, but now your dream, when I get the feeling that maybe your dream, you've reached that dream and now you have a dream another direction. Is that right?
Yes, well, in the sense that I've reached certain goals, but the dream is to always create until I die. My dream is to always be creating, whether it's creating by way of writing, that's what I'm doing right now, by way of directing, which I'm going to be doing, choreographing. That's the dream to me, is expressing myself both from an emotional, spiritual, and creative level till the day.
Nice. I like that. Yeah. I'm so excited I got to talk to you for more than 5 minutes. I got to keep you and not let you go. Nobody could share you with me.
And Malia, I used to hate traveling with all my passion, and yet I've traveled so many countries, so many things.
Oh yeah.
Again, this fat little kid from the barrio doing all this stuff. Pow! That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm not a comfortable flyer. I like to get to the other side of the world, but I wished I could just bat my eyes and I was there. But you know, Art, you have no idea how much I appreciate you sharing and spending time with me and educating my mind about things I didn't know about you. I'm so excited with all the success that you've had in your life. This little fat kid turned up to a well-defined grown man, and I'm just so happy to know you, and happy that people will be able to view this. And you know, as I said, please get his book. This tells you more in depth. But for me, I love to read the books. You know, I like a book. I smell the pages. I like a book. I don't like these on reading there. I like the book. But I like better when you describe the incident. I like the words from the living person who lived it. That is much more depth and feeling to it. And so this for me is very special. So I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I hope that we see each other somewhere soon. And yeah, what can I say? I'm honored and I'm pleased. And I pray for you to find happiness somewhere. And you pray too. You ask God for, I'm sure you ask God for things in life. Tell God you would like to find happiness.
I want to try that.
And he will send it to you. All right, I love you. I love you. I love you. And thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.